Here we go again as the Chicago Bulls get ready to take on the Detroit Pistons. We're going to be talking about the recent injury update around Patrick Williams. We're also going to be talking about the key things to look for in tonight's game against these Detroit Pistons. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today we are looking at some of the keys for tonight's game if the Chicago Bulls are looking to hopefully get a win. We're also going to be looking at some injury updates around these teams. And so let us start with the Chicago Bulls because we do have some recent injury update news, and that is around Patrick Williams, okay, because he is listed as a game time decision with a foot. And so when you go to ESPN.com, it is listed as a bilateral foot pain is what Patrick Williams is going through. So he has some discomfort in the foot, and hopefully that is not something that is going to be a major setback for him this season. He did miss last year with a foot injury, so hopefully this is not anything that's lingering from that. But I thought it was interesting that he just popped up on the injury report. He is expected to go tonight. And look, aside from last night against the Houston Rockets, where really no Chicago Bulls player played well, Patrick Williams he's been having it going as of late, because over the 5-game span going into that game against the Rockets, he was averaging 14 points, 5.2 rebounds a game, 3.6 assists, along with 1.8 steals. So Patrick Williams quietly has been, coming along. He's quietly trying to put things together, and hopefully he can get back to that consistency that he was showing before this game against the Houston Rockets. And with Lonzo Ball, we know that he is on a 2 to 6 week kind of timetable. It's just going to depend when his wrist is going to start responding for, catching the basketball, throwing it, and then when do they trust him going out there defensively, being able to protect himself. They haven't put him into any of those drills, so they don't know how that wrist is going to respond when he's hand checking, trying to get over screens and things like that. So Lonzo Ball, 2 to 6 weeks there. And so as we push forward and we look at what is going on with the Pistons, and so the Pistons do have some players that are questionable, especially when you look at Jaden Ivey. He's a player that I'm looking forward to seeing tonight. I think he was a player that had been listed in trade talks, but I really like his game a lot. And I love the fact that he's become a much better jump shooter. Tim Hardaway Jr., I believe he was dealing with a concussion. He is a game time decision as well. There you see Amen Thompson's brother. He plays for the Detroit Pistons. Looks like he is out for tonight's game. He's a pretty good rotational player for the Pistons. And so now when we look at these teams in comparison and just really the key takeaways for this team. So the Pistons, yes, they are a young team. I like the fact that they have gone out. They've added a veteran presence like Tobias Harris. And so I think that this team is trending in the right direction. And defensively, this team is pretty good because right now you see that they are 6th in their defensive rating. Really what they like to do most is they like to try to force turnovers, which is something that the Chicago Bulls really struggle with. So this is a team that does like to lurk in the passing lanes. They're certainly going to wait until you fall asleep trying to back down, and then, they're going to be there suddenly in the passing lanes or try to swipe it away. So this is something that the Chicago Bulls are going to have to pay attention to. You don't want to give these Detroit Pistons extra possessions because they are going to make you pay. And then right now, as far as their paint protection, this is a very good team inside. It's going to be a bit challenging for Vooch and whoever else is going inside tonight because this team is 8th in total block shots. And so they know how to play defense around the rim. So that is going to be a challenge for the Chicago Bulls tonight. And then as far as rebounding, look, this team is 3rd in the NBA as far as rebounding percentage. And a lot of that has to do with Jalen Durant. I think that he is a terrific player. I loved watching his game out of Memphis. He's definitely one of my favorite big men in the NBA, much like a Jared Allen. I love the fact that he plays big, and I like the fact that he loves to go out there and rebound the basketball. And so, I think between him and Isaiah Stewart, this is going to be a real challenge for the Chicago Bulls, keeping these Detroit Pistons off the glass and really limiting these second chance opportunities. And so, that is really the story of the two when it comes comes down to just looking at the comparison for these two teams. Obviously, you see with our ratings, it's been a challenge for us because last night, I think that the real key from that game, throwing out the stats, is just that if our shot is not falling, then it seems like it just affects our effort on the defensive end. And regardless of what these stats are, I think that the Chicago Bulls need to really come out and they have got to play with some energy. They've got to be assertive. And regardless of what's going on in the offensive end, this team has got to show up. And so that's just really the key takeaway here. I know that this team is not anywhere near where it needs to be right now, still trying to figure out what they want to do with this roster, but it's no excuse not to show up and play with some real energy tonight. And so, as we move forward and kind of just break down and look at some of the projected starters, look, I'm looking to see Cade Cunningham. I want to see Cade Cunningham. I've watched a little bit of him, on the NBA League Pass. I've looked at some of his games, and he's interesting because he can go out there. He can get you a triple-double. He certainly can get you a double-double. I think really the thing about Cade Cunningham is just staying healthy with him. And so hopefully he's able to stay healthy, but I like to watch him operate as a scorer. I think it's very interesting how he's able to use his dribbles and get to his spots on the floor. I think he was compared to like a Paul George type of player when he came out, and I can certainly see a little bit of those similarities. Jaden Ivey, I talked about him just a moment ago. I like Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey was a guy that came in, and he reminds me a little bit of Ja Morant with the way that he wants to be fearless and going to the basket. I think that he's getting a little bit better as far as shooting the basketball, so I think that is a key takeaway. And then I talked about Jalen Duren. I love Jalen Duren. I like everything about him. He's a true big man out there, and so I love to see him impose his will on the paint. And then Ron Holland, I've caught a couple of his games. I like his energy. I want to see, does he have added energy, tonight with Matas Buzelis, his former teammate, being in the building. So I want to see that. As far as the Chicago Bulls, I talked about this just a couple moments ago with the fact that they need to come with energy. All right. And so regardless of what happens as far as the shot going down or not, you got to come with some energy. And so hopefully the Chicago Bulls are able to come with energy. I think that Zach Lavine and Vooch, it's important for them to continue to play at an all-star level, especially if AK is looking to trade either one of these players. I think that as they continue to go, their value continues to go up. I think that Houston Rockets game is not going to be something that if teams are looking to trade for them, it's going to deter them or make them not want to trade for them. I think that they're fine. They've been playing very well. And I like the fact that they've been playing selfless basketball. It's not just about, hey, we're trying to get traded. It's like, no, they're actually locked in and focused in trying to go out there and help these younger guys win these games. And so I love that about them. With Kobe White, I talked about him just now needing to not just settle for the three-point shot as much, not try to force it as far as getting the home run assist. But if you do have those layups, take the layups. Definitely take the layups if they are available. Hopefully with Josh Giddey, he can get a bit more comfortable tonight and operate a little bit more on the ball. I talked about how he was just really into an off-the-ball role in this last game. But again, the Houston Rockets game, that game, I think you just kind of throw it out and really you just start here from today. That's all you can do. Everybody has bad nights, and hopefully the Chicago Bulls can lock in on tonight's game. So with that being said, this is the last thing I want to talk about, and that is Matas Buzelis. I want to see more Matas Buzelis tonight, regardless of the outcome. I think that, yes, you want to try to go out and win games, but you still have got to find ways to get Matas Buzelis out here because he's looked very good in the last couple games, and I know he got a lot more run in this last game, and I think he should have got even more run. I thought he should have been out there in the third quarter, not just the fourth quarter. I thought he should have been out there in the third quarter once that game got out of hand. You need to give Matas Buzelis as much reps as possible. And I like the fact that one of the weaknesses of his game coming out was just the consistent three-point shooting. You can tell that he has worked on that. If you go back and look at the G League performance that he had, it looks like just a totally different player from when we drafted him. So I can definitely tell the work that that he's put in. And now you're starting to see that confidence when he's playing in these NBA games, because he's not hesitating and he's knocking that shot down and it's looking good. I'm not talking about like it's just going around the rim and going in. Like, it is nothing but net. So he is working on that. I think as he gets stronger, you're going to see his ability to get to the rim. I talked about what Van Fleet was able to do as far as, just moving defenders and then getting them to jump into him and finishing plays. I think that that's going to be Matas Buzelis. And you can imagine at his height just how dangerous that's going to be. And on the defensive end, I saw him in there battling with some of the Rockets bigs and things like that. And one of them was actually a foul, but it didn't get called. I forgot who he was guarding. But I like that about Matas Buzelis. He's not afraid to mix it up. You can tell the spacing, everything is working out for him. So that's what I would say. Billy Donovan, you've got to play this young guy tonight, regardless of the outcome. And so anyway, let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to seeing in tonight's game against these Detroit Pistons? Is it, yes, we need to get Matas Buzelis out there as much as possible? Are you looking to see maybe Zach, Lavine, Vooch, these guys get back to their all-star level? Do you want to see Kobe White? Let me know. I'd like to love to hear what you're thinking in the comments here. And so before we jump out of here, I just want to thank everybody for liking, subscribing, and sharing the content. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest as we try to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers here by the end of the season. Make sure that you continue to go out there and slam dunk on that subscribe button for us. It means a lot to us here at Bulls Digest. And look, even though we got destroyed by the Houston Rockets last night, and more than likely we may not be going anywhere this year, I'm still saying go Bulls. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll be doing a post game tonight. All right, peace.